Good afternoon, people. Good afternoon. What's going on? What's happening? What's popping? It's your dog, Toddy, checking in with a live stream. And I got my co host here also. Mark, what's happening?
What's up, man? What's up, Atlanta Bird Gang? We here once again.
Chilling, chilling, chilling like a villain. So,
Yes,
guys,
sir.
today we are going to talk about mainly about two topics. We want to first start off. We're gonna revisit. This the off season, so we got a lot of time to talk about topics into training camp and preseason. And eventually, the regular season kicks in. So today, we wanted to revisit a old friend, a old comrade, a former employee of the Falcons, our former general manager Thomas Dimitroff, who Dimitrov, to me, I see him like the Matt Ryan of Falcons executives. You say that name, you get a lot of very opinions and animations when it comes to Thomas Dimitrov. So we're going to talk about TD, and we would like to solicit you guys' opinion. You think TD was a great GM, a bad GM, trash GM? So we'll talk about that also. And I'm going to pass the baton to Mark. Mark, give me some of your thoughts and your opinions on Dimitrov.
Yeah, man, I think you hit on the head. TD was the pretty boy. And sometimes, when you're the pretty boy, man, you got a lot of haters. It don't really matter what you do. But I mean, Thomas Dimitrov, wow. What a time, what an era. He came in hot from the New England regime, and we try to build like that. Like we tried our best. And I feel like he did a solid job, man, overall. I think TD did all right. So love to hear what the
Right.
chat think. But I mean, like you said, I think you hit on the nail. He's kind of the Matt Ryan's of executives. So I think
Yeah.
that was a great analogy. Great analogy.
Yeah, he is definitely the Matt Ryan of executive. You say that name, and boy, here comes a long comment thread because people gonna have a lot of
Right.
opinions on Thomas Dimitrov, and everybody that's watching in the chat, man. Please drop in the chat your opinions on Dimitrov. Do you think he did a great job, a terrible job? Let us know what you think about Thomas. Also, quick commercial for those that are watching. Hit the like button for us. We definitely thank you in advance for that. Well, let's talk Dimitrov. Let's first check out and see who's in here joining us so far. Our guy Three Dirty is in the building. Says, "What's up, gang? What's up to you, Three? How's it going?" We got Big Dog Ron Thomas in the building. Says, "What up, man? What's going on with you, Ron?" We got John Higgins in the building. John, how's it doing? How you doing, brother? What's going on with you today?
So,
We got
John.
John Brooks in here. Says, "What up, Title? What's good, bro? What's cracking, John Brooks? What's happening, man?" Also, y'all do me a favor. John dropped some excellent content on YouTube. Also, virtually all Georgia sports based. So click on his profile, subscribe to his channel, run up the comments, run up the likes. Make sure to show him some love. Brandon D is in the building watching from YouTube. Says changing the alternator. Ooh, man, I hope you hydrated out there.
Right, you got to.
And was looking for something like this to listen to. Appreciate you, fellas. No problem, man. No problem at all, man. I know you got your hands full on your project going on there. Our brother Winston Thornton is in the building. What's up, G? How you doing, bro? Winston and John Harris, our other brother and family of the show. They and also Mark joined the broadcast as well. They did a very excellent live stream about 2 days ago, which is up on the Atlanta Bird Game YouTube channel. So make sure to go check that out, man. Excellent job there, fellas. Winston says chat was good and hit the like button. Yes, please indeed, y'all hit that like
Yes,
button for
sir.
us. Definitely appreciate that. John says Thomas Dimitrov, he did okay. We were good some years. He was here. True that. True that. Winston says TD is the best executive we have. Founding member are the winningest regime in our history. Facto.
Right.
Big facts. Dom says, "What's going on, Tyler? What's happening with you, Dom? How you doing today on this nice Saturday?" Brandon says Dimitroff was good earlier, then fell off quick. Brandon says I got an entire frozen Poland speech. Hey, and
Great.
yeah, he'll be all right. In this heat, man, it ain't gonna be froze for long. He says I'm in New York. Okay, it may not be as
Oh,
humid uh, in your part of the country. What's the temperature today in New York, Brandon? I'm just interested to know. I imagine it's pretty hot around the entire country, but further south you get, the humidity plays a big part a big part in how that heat goes. So what's the temperature like in New York? And also, Mark, I'm gonna ask you this: outside of, let's take away the Super Bowl year
right.
because that's too easy. But what's your favorite year of the Dimitrov era outside of the Super Bowl year?
Whew, man, off top, that one's tough. But first one that comes to my mind is 2000. What was it? 2008. Is that the year he drafted Matt?
Yep.
So I mean, I'm liking that first year. You bring in Matt, you bring in Michael Turner. Um, that was a solid year. Oh man, like you said, that 2015 2016 season, that's easier to say, but man, I really like those hires, man. I like bringing in DQ. I like his energy, um, and I like that. If I had to say my favorite move outside the Julio trade, because that was a very aggressive move by Thomas Dimitrov. I love the Alex Mack trade. I thought that was probably like one of the biggest trades um, that I could think of that translated to success instantly. So, like I said, my favorite year has to be his first year. You hit it out the park. You got your franchise quarterback. You got your bell cow running back, Michael Turner. Get us to the playoffs. And Matt Ryan's rookie season. Either my favorite move from him has to be the Alex Mack. Traded from him. I think we got him for the low. I don't think we had to send too much to get Alex Mack.
Well, we got him
But
in free agency.
we didn't make a trade to the Browns.
No, we picked him up in free agency.
Okay. Well, still, I love that move. That was big for Matt, the offense, and that propelled us to the Super Bowl.
Yep. And you make a good point because before Alex Mack came, our offensive line was not stabilized, and it was hurting us a great deal. And once you brought Alex Mack into the fold, of course, we had to pay him a pretty penny. But once you brought him into the fold, we saw the offensive line get stabilized, and that really helped propel this team to that Super Bowl run in 2016. And then we almost got back to the NFC Championship game again in 2017. So that's arguably probably the biggest free agent signing I think in Falcons history. And you brought up something that I really would like to touch on, Mark, because it's so controversial within this fan base, and that's the Julio Jones trade. Now,
Mm.
10 plus years later, because I've talked about this a lot with different Falcons fans. Do you think that was a smart move by Dimitrov or a dumb move? And if you don't mind, whatever your answer is, because I don't know, we didn't talk about this beforehand, so I don't know what you're about to say. Whatever your answer
Right.
is, tell us why.
Man, like you said, with hindsight, we can see clearly, and I want to say it was a smart move, man. It kept us relevant first and foremost. It kept defenses honest. We really probably stretched out an extra year or two out of Tony Gonzalez, and that just shows and that attests to his greatness because he was at the end of his career and he was still a top tight end.
Yeah.
So you almost kind of got you got a little bit more out of Roddy, you got a little bit more out of Tony, you got some more out of Matt, and I feel like that was the type of move that good organizations make. To send that much out at the time, that was a lot of picks. That was a lot of picks. But I feel like there was a time to do it. You have a franchise quarterback, and you know that there's a player that can significantly alter your franchise and keep you relevant. Because again, this is a business. Like that is an important aspect of trading up for a player. I mean, it's hard to say that it was a bad move, and it's hard for me to say I disliked it. Now, in hindsight, this is the dog coming out of me. This is the Georgia fan coming out of me. I would have loved to got AJ. I would have loved to got AJ Green in that draft. But again, looking back, years later, I still like that move, and I think it was a solid trade, and I think we won that trade.
I totally agree. I'll reiterate your last statement. I think we won that trade. Also, it was, of course, a high risk trade. That was one of them things when you go to Vegas to gamble, and you ain't got but $500 to your name, and you bet 400 of those $500, and you leave with $3,000.
Right.
It was very high risk. That could have been a total catastrophe. But for the life of me, I can't say it was a bad move, because the Julio Jones period was the most successful period in Falcons history. It was the most successful period in Falcons history. During the Julio Jones period of time with Atlanta, you go to two NFC championship games. You win one of them, and you actually host your first NFC championship game in the city of Atlanta in front of your home fans. And that was coincidentally the last game before the Georgia Dome was eventually blew up. Shout out to Marta. But because of that, going into that, let's do this, Mark. Before that trade, going into that draft, if somebody would tell any Falcons fan, okay, and we could let's remove Julio's name from the equation. But if you go into that draft, you tell a Falcons fan, look, it's going to cost you about 4 or 5 draft picks, but this one player will give you your most successful 10 years in franchise history. Do you want to do this? Mark, who's going to say no?
It's not me. I mean, man, I don't see how anyone can say no, man. Like, especially draft picks, they're so hit or miss.
Right.
You guaranteeing me that he's gonna be pretty much the best player at his position in our history, in our franchise history. I don't know too many people that's gonna say no to that.
Exactly, man. And like I say, some people say, well, you could have went and got a defense or a pass rush. Yeah, we could have, but let's look at it this way. Y'all know I keep it real with these Falcons. You know what I'm saying? Those players that you speak of that went to other teams and they had great careers, that don't mean they came to Atlanta had a great career. And that's just the facts of the matter. Where you play at, the system you play at, who you play with, the scheme you play with, that plays a big part. Julio came here. He had a franchise quarterback that was already in tow on a team that likes to be offensive based. It worked well for us. I think it worked great for us. And I really think Dimitroff's vision panned out. It's just unfortunate for us. We closing games just ain't something we not good at. We all know we should have won the Super Bowl. Right. But I think the Julio Jones trade, again, it was a very high risk trade. But if I had to go back and do it again, I would do it again. I would do it 10 out of 10 times. Knowing the results I know now, I would do it 10 out of 10 times.
I mean, I'm revisiting that draft now. I'm looking at it now. We didn't really, especially where we're at. So we were at, I just had it up. So we were at 26. Oh, man. We didn't. Yeah, that was a great trade. Like, now, but it makes me, I want to look it up, but maybe you'll notice, was Matt Stone his rookie contract? Because that was 2011 draft. So he had us to be on a rookie contract.
Yes.
And I guess the rookie contracts were different, I think, in Matt's era. I think there were still some fat contracts for the top picks. Versus now, now it's like it's a set number, depending on your draft, your draft spot and I think position. But yeah, like just revisiting that draft, I think TD was looking at it just like us. I mean, you look at the board, there's no one you really want. I mean, there's no one. I mean, maybe Cameron Hayward, that's a guy, from Atlanta. He's had a long career. He was picked 31st from Pittsburgh. He would have been there. He would have been available. Other than that, Tidy, again, that was a very savvy move. And, he reached out to Bill Belichick before he made that move. And, you want to talk about 10 out of 10 people saying do that trade. That might not be accurate. It might be 9 out of 10 because Bill Belichick did not want us to make that type of move. So do you think from a team building standpoint, without knowing Julio is, a franchise changing player, do you think that is I know we talked about the risk, but it's almost like that move could have cost him his job. Do you think he would have had 2 or 3 seasons? Or do you think it was one of those type of trades where if Julio wasn't Julio year one, we didn't see any type of, potential. Do you think we would have had, moved off from Thomas Dimitroff?
Yeah, if Julio would have eventually been a disappointing pick or disappointing player or average or just above average or barely good, yeah, especially if the team would have stopped winning at that point in time, yeah,
Right.
I think Dimitrov would have got fired a lot quicker than he eventually did, just because of the risk factor associated with that. But because Julio just came on the scene like day one, you saw, okay, this dude a dog, this guy a beast. It made the risk make sense to a lot of people. But to answer your question, yeah, I think that move could have got him out of here, man. If Julio didn't end up being Julio that we know now, yeah, I think Blank would have got him out of here, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, luckily, Julio was Julio. And, we really didn't look back. Because I don't think, even looking at the next draft, I don't think it really hurt us as much as it could have. So definitely a win from Thomas Dimitroff.
Yeah, definitely a win. And I want to say shout out to Atlanta supporter, always showing love, supporting the channel. What's up with you, bro? How's it going?
Hey, shouts out to Atlanta supporter, man. His name is accurate. His name is very accurate.
That was a fool, man. That guy is a straight fool, man. I'll tell you. But yeah, I don't. I think a lot of people that and everybody's entitled to their opinion, of course, but I think a lot of people who go back and say it was a dumb move, they're using I wouldn't even say hindsight, because even in hindsight, Julio was arguably the best wide receiver of his era. Of course, you want to say Antonio Brown, all right, cool, and you can make that case, but strong 1B or number 2, and I think when people go back to that, a lot of that is the disappointing Super Bowl loss plays a part in it, and I think how Julio left Atlanta left such a sour taste in a lot of people's minds that they just don't mess with Julio like that no more. So they try to diminish what he actually brought to this franchise. And you made a key point too. One of the last streams we did, Mark, you said, yeah, he didn't always score a lot of touchdowns, but he set up other people to score,
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part you got to consider also. Exactly. Whole career, entire career. So you have to consider that as well. And even going back to talk about the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl, I know Bill Belichick was interviewed. He like Bill, what Belichick, what was your game plan defensively going into this game? Well, we focus on stopping Julio. You know, we set up a particular scheme to slow down Julio Jones, and essentially we dared everybody else to beat us. So
Mm.
their strategy defensively, Mark, it wasn't to stop the MVP. It was to stop his number one weapon, the wide receiver. So
Mm.
that made it easier for Devontae to get off in the first half. That
Mm.
single coverage that Taylor Gabriel, that was easier for Taylor. You know,
Right.
easier for Austin. And that's the part when Julio ain't got no touchdowns, but look what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean that was the thing about Julio, like you said, people didn't see the touchdown, so they couldn't understand his true impact. But man, every season, like you said, every team, every player, had Julio one or two, when you're looking at top wide receivers. And that was without the touchdowns. Like
Right.
that just shows you his greatness. So definitely a win. And I mean, and I guess I'll even ask you this. Because I think one of our first conversations was about Matt Ryan and his Hall of Fame resume. How many Hall of Famers did TD draft?
Possibly two. Matt and Julio.
Matt and Julio.
I don't think Grady's gonna make it to the Hall unless this last 3-4 years of his career are just all pro years. And
Right.
then it gets Grady. I love Grady, but I just don't. I don't think he's on a Hall of Fame pace right now. Everybody watching the chat, what do y'all think? What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, it's definitely two. Um, he had a couple of players that had an opportunity. Um, but yeah, it's definitely two that stick out. And
Ooh, hold on, not to cut you off. We forget somebody who is on the Hall of
uh-oh,
Fame pace, even though it's early.
uh-oh.
Think about it, Mark. Who's been the best player on this team the last 2 years? Think about it.
That's crazy. And it's funny that you said that because we almost disrespected Thomas Dimitroff by leaving this man off this list. You drafted one of the best linemen in your last season. That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. You drafted arguably the best. I mean, he was rated the top lineman last year, but
Yep.
that's wild. That's wild to think that he really is on pace to be one of those 12-year guards. He stayed in the same spot. You know exactly what you're getting out of him, and I agree. He's definitely on his way to get a Hall of Fame. But it's almost like, what did linemen have to do really to be considered Hall of Famers? Is it just always, consistently being ranked one of the top players at your position, or?
Yep. Being ranked one of the top players of your position. Then of course you got things like all pro teams that's gonna help that resume, Pro Bowls that's gonna help that
Right.
resume, and how you grade out every year also. And the thing about Lindstrom, when you watch Lindstrom play, you know he's not a player that just he just having one of season and contract year. You know, you some of us probably may think that about McGarry. We're gonna have to wait and see. But
Right.
I've always said that Chris Lindstrom, watching him play offensive line, and I hope this analogy makes sense, but it's like watching. It was like when I used to watch when I was much younger, Greg Maddox on the mound pitching. Like this dude is just such a technician at his craft. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when you watch it, you watch him block. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like a offensive line expert. You know, I know who's doing their job and I know who's not. But Lindstrom, he is just such above the field at his job. And he just reminds me of when Maddox was pitching. You know, he was just such the ultimate technician. So to go back to your question, we we can probably get 3 Hall of Famers from Thomas Dimitroff's era in Atlanta.
Wow. I mean, and that honestly makes you want to revisit his first round selections because he definitely has some. Man, he has some great value picks. When you think of Tico, you think of Devontae, you think of Grady, off the top of my head. Even like you said, McGarry. Moving back in the first was interesting, but he's we're starting to see his development. Hooper, man, I'm trying to think of some bad picks. I can't think of any off the top. Obviously, we know he had some. We know we can guarantee he had some bad picks, but
we can go back to that value. 2012 draft that I think they was out the league in like 3 or 4 years. that whole class.
Wow.
Yeah, he's had some bad ones, and that's you can say that about any general manager though. You're gonna have your peaks and your valleys. You just want the peaks to be more than the valleys, I think, at the end of the day. But let's keep talking about this. Let's catch up with some comments real quick. Winston says most complete roster was the 2013 team. We should have won a Super Bowl. I think that was the injury-riddled year. Speaking of Julio, Julio went down that year, if I remember correctly. I think Roddy went down that. Yeah, I think Roddy went down that year also, if I remember right. What did we go that year? 4-12, Mark? Do I got that right? Or something like that?
Looks like we went 13-3 that season.
13?
Yeah. So that was one of our top seasons for sure. Or actually, no, I'm mistaken. We went 13-3 the year before. So yeah, you're right. We were 4-12 in the 2013 season. So maybe he means the 2012 roster.
I think so. Probably so. Yeah, because that was a good team, a great team, really. We just shrunk in the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up that roster real quick.
All right.
Well, yeah, that season was magical for sure.
Yep, and that was the year we hosted the first NFC Championship game.
Yeah, so we started the season off 8-0. Yeah, that was a big season. And kind of like you were saying, that was actually easily our worst draft. So we ended up finishing 13-3 that season. But the draft before that, we drafted Peter Cons in the second round. Lamar Holmes in the third round. Wow. Yeah, this was a terrible draft.
Trash.
So trash. In the third, too. I can't believe we drafted him in the third. You're looking at Jonathan Massaquoi. He was another cat from Atlanta. If I remember correctly, he went to Central Gwinnett. I think he went to my high school. But yeah, man, that draft class was horrible, but we ended up having a great season. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, and to be honest, since we're speaking about Dimitroff, to be honest, that great season of 2012, but having that bad draft class, it affected us 2-3 years down the line, when we couldn't get in the playoffs. So that is, I'll try to highlight the good and the bad since we're talking about it.
Right.
Larry from the Dixon Way, shout out to our brother Larry. Also, y'all make sure to click on his profile. If you're not subscribed to him, definitely subscribe. Gives you the best live in-game commentary for Atlanta sports you're going to find on the internet. So show him some love, run up the likes, run up the comments. Larry says Dimitroff, the Matt Ryan and GM's good to be the best GM in Falcons history, but just like Matt, compared to his peers, was an elite. And that's probably fair. That's probably fair. I think the Super Bowl would have put them both in that category, but y'all know how that went in Houston.
Yeah.
Facebook user says, rise up. Our guy Mo Lewis is in the building. What's up, Mo? Says, it's go time now. Zero excuses. It's go time. I could not agree more. I couldn't agree more. John Higgins says, the Julio Jones trade was a smart move. I dig it. Let's see what else we got here. We got Miss B in the building. What's up, Miss B? How's it going today? Oh, Miss B done changed the name on us.
Right. I was like, has it always been that?
Yeah, because I recognized the picture, but then I looked at the name like, wait, what's up, Miss B? Done changed the name. Always Miss B to me. you know.
Right.
But she said, "What's up, y'all?" John Higgins says, "Rumor was they wanted the UJ receiver. I forgot his name. He played for the Bengals. Mark just mentioned him. AJ Green.
Yeah, AJ.
Yep. And from what I remember reading, that's who they wanted to get. That's who they wanted to target. But the Bengals wouldn't move out of 5 because they wanted him. I think most people had AJ as the number 1 receiver coming out of college that year. So since then, I was like, nah, Atlanta, y'all better settle with the guy from Bama.
Right.
But worked out good for us, so I ain't mad at it, man. I ain't mad at all.
Yeah.
Facebook user go Cowboys. Oh, how we get a Cowboy fan?
Man, man, kick him out the group, man.
How we get a cowgirl fan in the group talking about go Cowboys? Man, y'all ain't did that since the internet got the popping, man. What's going on with you with that? All right, let's see. Let's see what we got here on this one, Mark. You want to read this one?
Yeah, so Facebook user says, as much as I love Julio, truth is he took a gamble on his career thinking he couldn't do without us anymore. He chose to leave. If he didn't work out for him as well as he thought in Tennessee. So I don't think he really took a gamble. I mean, he finessed us, 2-3 seasons in a row. He kept getting new contracts. So really it was almost like, I mean, I don't know if he necessarily took a gamble. What I do agree with when he was speaking on he wanted to play with a quarterback with a big arm, but then went to go play with Ryan Tannehill. That did rub, I think, a lot of people in the fan base the wrong way. But hindsight is definitely very clear. It did not work out with him since he has left Atlanta. So.
Yep,
it's unfortunate, man. He was supposed to be a Falcon for life.
I will say this about that comment. I think at the end of the day, man, Julio, I think 2 things happened. He knew how great he was, even if he never told you, and he kind of didn't want to have a Charles Barkley career if he preferred. Great player with no ring is what I'm saying. You know, we mentioned AB, and AB eventually got his ring. And I think he saw the writing was on the wall. Like, look, this team is about to crash and burn, and they got to rebuild. And by the time they get back to where they used to be, I'm gonna be in my late 30s. You know what I mean? Which is where he at now.
Right.
And I don't think he just wanted to go through another rebuild. And I think he wanted to get somewhere where he can be playing football in January. And I mean, in the playoffs. But like you said, he did finesse us out some money before he got it. Living in Atlanta, he learned from the finesses, man.
He learned well because he wasn't going out to practice. He was playing every other play. I'm talking about he had his way here, so so I do agree. You know, him leaving wasn't the best thing for him, but hey, that's business.
You're right. He learned from the finesses.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's see. Mo says Julio Jones, the full package. AB was not. AB also had a Hall of Fame QB, still not better than Julio. I can dig it, man. I can definitely dig it. Mo says Matt Ryan don't have no Hall of Fame resume. Let's be honest there. Mo came to bang.
What?
I think it could go either way, Mo. It wouldn't surprise me. Well, I'll say I don't think he's first ballot, but it wouldn't surprise me if he gets in, and it wouldn't surprise me if he don't get in. Now, I will say this about Matt. I think one thing he's gonna have to his advantage is it's voted on by the sports writer. And for the one thing that a lot of us fans didn't like about Matt Ryan as a player may benefit him when it comes to Hall of Fame voting, and that was being a company guy, a nice guy, so to speak. Sometimes we call them choir boys. I think the way he carried himself off the field and his demeanor, being the ultimate good guy. I think when that one Hall of Famer after his third or fourth try, when you got that one Hall of Famer who has that deciding vote, man, Matt Ryan was a hell of a guy. He always taught me, always smiling. Yeah, let's go ahead and put him in. That could work to his advantage. What you think, Mark?
No, I mean, we definitely talked about it before. First ballot, not first ballot. I think that is debatable. What I don't think is debatable is he is getting into the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's top 10 in yards, top 10 in touchdowns, top 10 in wins. Playing the hardest position in football. And like you said, he had a squeaky clean career. I mean, he has plenty of records. He's getting in. It's whether or when he gets in, honestly.
Yeah. And that's why I say, like, maybe this third or fourth try, they may eventually go ahead and put him in. It could definitely go either way. Let's see. Dixon Way says Julio, Matt Lindstrom are Hall of Fame players. So Larry from the Dixon Way agrees with you, Mark. He said he is getting in. Let's see. Winston says Grady has to hit roughly 62 sacks for the Hall of Fame. Ooh. Lindstrom is a lock almost, and if AJ can get back to his 2021 form consistently, then he has a great shot. Yeah, AJ will have to go ahead and start his run now. This coming season. And one thing I noticed about corners, man, like unless you like a Dion or a Revis, they like to see interceptions when it comes to putting cornerbacks in there. So AJ gonna have to start picking out some passes, I think, this year also. And also, Mark, going back to our Dimitroff discussion, because I know we talked about Julio, who is part of that discussion. Before we move on to our last segment, one thing that Dimitroff was highly criticized about, and y'all make sure to tell us in the comments, do you think Dimitroff was a great GM, good GM, or just absolutely trash? But one thing that's always talked about as far as Thomas goes, Dimitroff, is he gets the bulk of the blame for us eventually going into salary cap hell that we just got out of. So these last maybe 3 to 4 years, salary cap hell. Our cap is effed up. We have talked about that as nauseum. And Dimitroff pretty much gets almost exclusive blame for that, which is fair, which is fair because he is the GM. That is fair. But when you dig beneath the surface, Mark, and I talked about this before, I think he takes a lot of the blame I think he takes a good bit of the blame for our owners doing. And when I say our owners doing, I always allude to like that Falcons for Life stuff, going back to Julio, giving Julio this bonus money, new contract, Matt Ryan's almost fully guaranteed contract. I really think those two contracts is what put us in salary cap hell. And also what Arthur Blank always saying, Falcons for Life, saying that stuff while he's in a contract negotiation with these guys. I think that's really what turned the tides and set this franchise back a few years, because if y'all remember when Julio Jones was whining about his new money, Dan Quinn and Dimitroff came out at first and said, we don't plan on giving Julio a new contract. That they came out publicly and said that initially. And if people remember, about maybe 2, 3, 4 days later, Arthur Blank came out and said something. And he eventually gave him a bonus. And he obviously told him they'll give him a new contract next year, which got Julio back to camp. But people seem to forget that Dimitroff really got overruled by his boss when it came to that Julio contract. He did not want to give Julio any new money because as a general manager, he knew, like, look, Arthur, we get this guy new money, we gonna be effed up in 2 or 3 years, salary cap wise. And then when you're giving these guys these Falcons for life contracts and neither ends their career in Atlanta, you know, and also before we comment on this, Mark, I actually want to share something with the group where Dimitroff talks about that. You know, of course, he's being professional. He ain't blaming Arthur, but he's kind of letting y'all know, like, look, that wasn't really my doing. You know, so I'm gonna play this clip, and then we can talk about it from there. So let me get this started. Hold on just a second. Well, I thought I was going to play the clip.
At one more time with Matt Ryan. Thomas.
Well, I think the first thing that needs to be understood is when we redid the contracts for both Matt Ryan, which was a $30 million plus contract a year, of course, and Julio Jones 22 plus, those deals were done with the idea and the vision of both of those players being there for the rest of their career. Those deals were done with the idea and the vision of both of those players being there for the rest of their plus contract a year, of course, and Julio Jones 22 plus. Those deals were done with the idea and the vision of both of those players being there for the rest of their career. It wasn't set up in any way for us to think that we were going to be trading them. They were both pillar players on.
So we hear from that right there. What I take from that, Mark, is he was told, instructed, directed to write up these contracts so these guys will retire in Atlanta. Right. Because I have told my fans, promised my fans, these guys will be Falcons for life. I'm gonna play the rest of it real quick.
On our team and within our organization, within the community, and are still so highly regarded. So there is a lot of dead money involved in that. And dead money, with just cutting to the chase, basically means if you trade or release a player like that, there's a lot of money, i.e., tens of millions of dollars plus, I'll just say that way, hanging over the organization's head, no matter what the deal is. So what I would say, for instance, in Matt's situation is.
All right, we'll stop it right there. And that's kind of what I mean when I say he catches a lot of blame for it. But I really think that Julio Jones situation, that contract, and that Matt Ryan's last contract was out of his hands, and that really was more of an Arthur Blank thing, And Mark, I never liked it, the whole Falcons for life philosophy from Arthur Blank publicly, because you're losing all your leverage,
Right.
And when neither guy, when you instruct your GM to write these contracts and give them the guaranteed money so they will retire here, and they don't retire here, everything that blew up in your face. Julio don't retire here. Matt don't retire here. And Arthur Blank should have known, being a businessman, of course, himself for decades upon decades, and being a owner of an NFL team for about 20 years during that period of time. Like, Blank, you can't make that guarantee. This is the NFL, man. This is a football business. So I think he loves each one of them so much that he let his personal feelings get in the way of what was good business for the football team. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I agree. And I think, the people that are aware of the situation, they know TD's hands were tied, because essentially it's almost like the owner put a no trade clause in these players' contracts, because no GM would put these type of numbers in there because, like everyone knows, just like TD just spoke on, once we sign the contract, we cannot trade these guys. Like that as they're signing them, they should understand that we can't and won't trade you because it would significantly hurt this franchise if we even consider it. So, that's clearly, to me, especially when you're talking about business, that's clearly an owner coming down and making decisions that he is not qualified to make. Obviously it's his money, but it's clear as day when you put these type of numbers on these type of players, it just doesn't work out usually. Maybe if you have a Pat Mahomes, you have these rare talents that you will never move, you can't move, okay. But I think that was our Achilles heel for a couple seasons was, and this maybe this goes back to Arthur Blank, but I know TD took a lot of blame for this too, was holding on to players a year or two too long. Yeah. The Patriots, they might release a good player. They might trade a good player for a 6th-round pick. And we're like, wow, they just did that. But really what they're doing is they're putting themselves in a position to continue to build their team. And if they can't get nothing out of them, we're either going to release you or we'll get a 7th because we want to use that money, that roster spot, that playing time in a more efficient way. And again, you see the better teams make those type of decisions. And maybe that is the unfortunate thing about TD's his time here was he got a lot of blame for things that he probably had no control with. So I agree wholeheartedly. Like Arthur Blank definitely had a huge impact on getting us in cap hell. Whether people want to blame a GM or not, like the owner has the last say. The owner is signing the checks. So it's very unfortunate, man. The Falcon for life thing, man. That hurts, man. Like you said, you took away all our leverage. And if I'm Julio, if I'm Matt, I'm gonna try to get as much money as I can.
Birdman Hero. Falcon for life, huh? Okay. All right. Time to buy some new Bentleys.
That's what I'm saying. Shoot, he basically gave Matt Ryan and Julio Jones a blank check, man. And so it's ironic that his name is Arthur Blank because he literally gave him a blank check.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Right, exactly, man. And we talking about Julio, but got to keep it 100, especially that Julio contract. Julio had, I think, about 3 more years left on his deal, and he started complaining in his own subtle way, on his own subtle way, using his social media. And after TD and Dimitroff, after TD and Quinn said they were not going to give him any new money, Arthur Blank obviously gets on the phone with him and says, "Hey, don't worry about it. This is what we're gonna do. All right, I'm gonna make an exception. I'm gonna make a decision. I'm gonna give you $3 million bonus. Check your account next Tuesday. You'll have $3 million in there. Check your account. Then I'm gonna have them give you a new contract of what you want." And that was $65 million fully guaranteed. I think it was 64 maybe, I think, if I remember correct. And the contract was only a extension of, I'm not saying only, but I'm just saying in comparison to the fully guaranteed money, 64 guaranteed, and I think the contract was worth like $67 million over the next 3 years. So essentially, Julio got a fully guaranteed contract when he still had 3 years left on his current deal. So financially, you are setting us up for failure, especially if he starts getting hurt or if he falls off, which did happen, or if he leaves the Falcons, which did happen. So that was a monumental failure by the front office of the Falcons. Let's check in with Uncle Steve, y'all. Our guy Uncle Steve checking in the building. What's up, Steve? So what's up, everybody? Y'all get these lights up. Yes, y'all, please hit the like button for us. And thanks for the reminder, Steve. He says, here from my brothers midday or midnight, they bring the fire. Thank you, Steve. And y'all make sure to check on to check out Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube. Hit the profile. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe to Unc's YouTube channel. Run the comments up. run the lights up. And we also got let's see here. Facebook user said that line was good for the run game, but not protecting any QB. That draft class was atrocious in 2012. It definitely was. Definitely was.
Yeah.
Facebook blame Shanahan for the Super Bowl loss.
And we all agree.
Yeah, we do. Uncle Steve says, please bring up a topic to tick tidy off. It's been a while since we had a pain on. You can wait till the season starts, bro. Your team, my team, Mark's team, they're gonna do that on their own.
Guaranteed.
Like they always do. So my jovial side will soon be replaced by my alter ego, and it'll be a lot of banging going on.
Man, what? It's funny to speak on that. I'm going to make my projection now. Or my prediction, I should say. I think Arthur Smith is going to try to use Bijan in the slot so much that I'm going to be on here all season banging with y'all, man. I feel like he is going to have him on the field every damn play to justify him picking 8. That's my bold prediction. And I feel like that's what's going to piss me off, man. Is that he going to have him on the field every play.
So Mark is saying he may have to come on here and bang too. hopefully we'll be winning more and we'll be losing. So hopefully we don't have to run our blood pressure up like we do at the end of the summer every year with these Falcons.
Right.
But speaking of prediction, man, let's go ahead and get to our last segment, Mark. What we want to do, y'all, is we want to, I think this is kind of fun, what we're about to do right now. PFF, everybody, you're a football fan, NFL fan. Now you know about PFF already. But PFF, they have a NFL season simulator. Y'all know how it is when the season is over, or the season is about over, which is for the Falcons normally around November, December. But anyway, we all go to PFF, we do our mock drafts, and we post them on social media like, boy, that's the best mock draft y'all ever seen, yada, yada, yada. No, we all do it. It's part of being a football fan. And PFF is one of the leading companies or maybe softwares to do mock drafts. And they've also introduced something new where you can actually simulate an entire NFL season. So what I want to do, y'all, is I want to actually use PFF and simulate the Falcons season. I think this is going to be pretty cool. So we're going to bring this up on the screen. And as y'all see, you got all the teams right there. We only care about the Falcons. We don't care about these other 31 teams. So we're going to go to the Falcons and we're going to simulate our entire season. And we can talk during the simulation if y'all want to, as you see the simulation going on the screen, y'all drop y'all comments, let us know what y'all think. Also, before we start, let me scroll down to the comments. Can y'all see that pretty good? Can somebody give me some feedback, or do I need to blow it up anymore? Can y'all see the screen share good enough? Let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know if you can see the simulator.
Yeah, if you could blow it up a little bit, I think they would appreciate it. I just hopped on YouTube.
Okay, so let me blow it up a little bit. And we got Lisa Shepard in the bill. How's it going today, Miss Lisa? How you doing? Lisa, yeah, title we need to bang. It's been a minute. I will bang on that ABG troll. y'all want that alter ego to come out.
Man.
All right. So give me just a moment here. I'm about to come on here and do a banging session though, man, because I know when I be doing that, because like I think my last big one was the Bijan draft. I had to come release some frustration. And then people be hitting me up in my inbox like, man, I love when you do that, man. Like you be speaking for us sometime, man. I love when you do that, man. That's what we be thinking. I'm saying? Keep going on. So I see people really be into that. And I really just be pissed off. This team be having my stress level up, my blood pressure up. Been following these jokers since I was like 3-4 years old. Like, God, just get it together, Atlanta. So I just be frustrated, and it'd be good therapy for me to come on here and just release frustrations with my fellow Falcons brothers and sisters. So the season will start soon. So I'm
Right.
sure I have a ample opportunity to bang. But hold on, let me blow this up. Mark said blow it up a little bit more. Just a second, y'all. Let's see here.
Yeah, I mean, I was with you too. I went back, I rewatched the draft with you on, you know, some of them guys from the other show. I can't think of the name of their show.
That was Smitty and Alberto. From,
yeah, Smitty.
Yep, Smitty and Alberto. That's our brothers from Smitty Sports Machine and 95 North Falcon show.
Yeah, man. You know, they hold it down. That was definitely a great show. I watched most of the draft. I try to get y'all's reaction, and man, that was great. That was great content right there for Atlanta sports fans, man. Because I feel like it was a great representation on how a lot of us felt. It was just like, really offense, running back at number 8, you know, and to make it even worse, Jalen Carter was right there for the taking.
Yeah.
So trust me, man. Arthur Smith is going to try to make us all look like fools. All the people that were skeptical, he's going to try to make us look extremely stupid week 1. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, and I definitely hope he's successful. I hope he makes me look crazy for questioning Ritter, and I definitely hope he makes me look crazy for questioning a running back at number 8. I would be so happy. You know what I'm saying? Please prove me wrong, or prove my skepticism to be incorrect.
Right.
Yeah, we deserve it as Falcons fans, man. We done paid so many dudes, you know, room for this team, and that's why, Mark, sometimes it gets under my skin when people say, "Well, you're not a real fan, or you're a fake fan." Like, bro, do you know how much stress goes into being a Falcons fan? Like, do you think this is easy? You know what I'm saying?
Like, trust me, there are no fake Falcons fans. None of us are fake fans, man.
Exactly. You probably got fake Chiefs fans, you got fake Patriots fans, but who's gonna fake it with the Falcons? You know what I'm saying?
It makes no sense.
No sense. Hold on. What about now, Mark? How we looking?
It looks good. We can't get our reactions on here. Like, is it going go game by game, or just going to throw up the whole season?
It's gonna go game by game, but it moves kind of fast. So we're probably gonna have to wait till after the simulation to discuss each game.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we'll go ahead and crank it up, y'all. Just look at the screen, and it's gonna simulate what it thinks the Falcons are gonna do this season. So let's go ahead and pick Atlanta. There we go. NFC South. And here we go. Simulate season. Let's do it.
Let's get it. Shoot, I wish we could simulate this offseason and get right into week 1.
I know that's right. So they got us losing the first game, winning the next 2.
Okay.
We 2-2 right now. Beat Houston. Lost to Washington at home.
They do not have us scoring.
0 points against Tennessee. 6 points against Minnesota. Oh boy, Ritter must be stinking the joint off.
Right. Thank God for the bye week.
John Harris will say we lost to the bye week.
All right. Wow.
Oh, boy, we might need to stop the simulation. Good God.
Yeah, we picked. Yeah, we
might get Caleb Williams.
That's what I'm saying. Wow. Okay. So literally 3 years in a row.
Again. Dang, I would not like that. 7-10. Grade C. Okay. All right, y'all. They got some stats for us. So let's look at the stats. They got Desmond Ritter having 542 passing attempts, completing 321 of his passes, 17 interceptions, and 16 touchdowns.
Ouch.
Hell no. I know that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, like he wouldn't even play that long.
Right?
He would not play long enough to throw that many interceptions.
All right. What you see the receiving? Go over the receiving stats for me, Mark.
So it looks like Drake London leads us in receptions with 79 catches, 4 touchdowns, and just over 1,000 yards. Mac Hollins as a number 2 has 39 catches and 500 yards. And Bijan ends up being our second leading receiver within receptions and finishes with just over 500 yards. So that is crazy.
So are they saying Kyle Pitts get hurt early in the season, I guess?
And honestly, I think that's what the simulation did not include. There's no way Pitts was on the roster for the simulation. There's no way.
They must had him getting hurt because ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be including him to still be injured because that don't make no damn sense. For him not to have 30 catches.
Now, I will say this, Mark. PFF do agree with you on Arthur Smith using Bijan a lot. Look at Bijan's stats.
Woo! As a rookie?
Yeah.
Wow. 2,000 all-purpose. He finishes with 1,500 rushing yards, 15 total touchdowns, and even Dez gets 3. Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that simulation.
Dang, 350 rushing attempts. That seemed like a lot. That's about 20 a game, 2021.
Gotta be. Let's see, 350. Yeah, that's 21 a game. That's why he's getting about 25 touches a game. That's crazy.
I love the production because it made them look great for drafting him. But on the flip side, all this wear and tear on his body for a team that's 7-10, I wouldn't want to see that. Right. And where's Tyler Algier? How is Tyler Algier not the second leading rusher?
Right. That's very, very interesting simulation.
I don't know. We gotta see. Let's see what the comments say, Mark. Let's see what our comments say. What do y'all think about this? And Mark, let me ask you this while we read the comments. Mark, let me go back up to Desmond Ridder real quick. All right. And just to give everybody who's listening to a recap on Desmond Ridder's season, they got him throwing 542 times, 321 pass completions, 17 interceptions, and 16 touchdowns. And we finished 7-10, Mark. So, and of course, this is just hypothetical, Mark. We're just having fun for everybody who's listening. Mark, with this season at 7-10 and Ritter stats, is he your starting quarterback going into the following season, or at this point, if you're Arthur Smith, are you forced to jump into the top 3 and get you a quarterback? What would you do?
We finished 7-10. Everybody gone. Everybody gone. If the new coach we hire thinks that they can work with Dez, then I mean maybe we go. But most likely, if we get a new head coach, then they're gonna get their new quarterback. Like if we don't make the playoffs, and like, it's unfair to Desmond, but if we don't make the playoffs this season, Arthur got to go. He got to go. Unless, of course, Bijan look crazy, like everything going good, but we just don't make the playoffs because of, maybe a tough division. I don't know. To me, like the division was for the taking last season. I think we even improved this season. The goal, the standard should be winning the division this season. And if you can't win the division, you got to go, bro.
So you're basically saying if you go 7-10, of course you ain't making the playoffs at 7-10. You're saying you're firing Arthur Smith at the end of the year.
I'm firing Arthur Smith, man. Especially with our schedule. I mean, obviously, like it's all hypothetical, but like that's my prediction, regardless of the simulation or anything. Arthur Smith, he's on the hot seat. He's definitely on the hot seat. I know people are going to argue, oh, well, this is his first real year with money. bro, there's been coaches that have had less time than Arthur Smith, like especially black head coaches. So, if you rolling with Dez and you're not getting the results that you're promising us, because I mean, let me ask you, if Arthur Smith is our head coach, are we not expecting to be a playoff team this season? Is that not an understanding within the organization?
I honestly, bro, I think that's understood without even have to say it a lot. Like, man, like, look, like you just alluded to it, bro. This is the NFL. Like, you don't get 4, 5, 6 years to get a win a season. Hey, we'll give you like a mulligan for the first 2 years. Okay, we get it. We understand. But like by year 3, and see, this is the thing. You have had, when we're starting this season, Arthur Smith has had 3 consecutive top 8 NFL draft picks. 3. You had damn near $80 million of cap space this year. So you gotta win now. There's no more excuses. Even if Kyle Pitts did get injured for the year in week 3, which it looks like he probably did, still you gotta win.
Got to,
man. This is the NFL, bro. This ain't high school. Where your relationships allow you to keep a job for 10 years. You have to win this year. So hypothetically, again, y'all, we just having fun. But if this is how our season goes, you got to get rid of Arthur Smith, man. You got to get rid of him.
Got to. I mean, and even looking at Lisa Shepard's comment, she just posted in the chat. I think she hit it on the head, boy. It's not necessarily about Arthur. He's one of those tough positions, and I'm so glad she said that because this is a very important point. He's in a position where we can't fire the offensive coordinator because you're the offensive coordinator. So you're really not. So you're really not getting fired as a head coach. You're getting fired as the play caller, unless he gives up his play calling duties. There's no way you can be the play caller year 4 with another top 10 pick. Let's say there's no way. There's no way we could trust you to be our play caller. So that's the unfortunate thing about him. He don't even got no one to fire. He's about to fire himself.
Right. Yeah, fire himself. You make a good point. And y'all, what do y'all people that's watching in the chat? What do y'all think? Would you fire Arthur Smith if this is how the season played out, or do you give him another year? Share your thoughts with us. Our guy Nathan Butler Jr. What's up, Nate? How you been doing, bro? Says anything below 9 and 8, Arthur may be gone. Yeah, you got to win this year, bro. You have to win this year for sure. But 7 and 10, man.
Yeah, 3 years in a row.
3 years in a row. Oh man. So we'd have to go spend more money in the offseason and draft picks, and we would hope by that time Calvin Ridley signs an extension in Jacksonville so we can get a second round pick, which would help us greatly in the draft. But what would you do, Mark? I don't know if you said, I might have missed it, but would you bring Desmond Ridder on as your starting quarterback for the following season, or would you go in the draft and get one?
Well, looking at numbers like this, I mean, you can't. 17 interceptions. Luckily for us, that is very unlikely unless like he gets benched to the Heineke gets hurt, then we got to go back to go back to Dez. But I mean, let's just say he has a mediocre season because I don't think he's going to be throwing 17 interceptions. I think he makes it difficult, but you have to, if nothing else, bring in a quarterback that he could compete with. Yeah. So maybe do you invest, a first rounder and a quarterback again? Do you trade up? Maybe not. Maybe you give him the benefit of the doubt. You give him another year in this offense. But if he is terrible, I mean, I think we all know, he will be a great. I project him to be, if nothing else, in his career, He will be a great offensive coordinator. He will be a great QB's coach. He'll be a great commentator. Like the boy is a winner, but I don't know if he is a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Gotcha. Dom says, how many games we lost in a row with PFF? Looks like it was 4, starting with Washington. 1, 2. Hold on, 1, 2, 3. Yep, we lost 4, according to PFF. Atlanta support. I mean, if he didn't do his job, he can lose his job and go to Dallas and be a cheerleader, or give out food. He not staying here. He better go help out homeless. And that's our guy, Atlanta supporter.
Right. All right. Now you're keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
No, but yeah. And Armani's, speaking on, being realistic. This is Ritter's rookie season. That is very, very true.
Very true.
But even looking at the simulator, I think this is something that Ritter could watch. Arthur Smith could watch to understand how to manage this season. We cannot lose consecutive games. We cannot go on no crazy losing streak. As long as we stay out of that, as long as we pretty much split the games throughout the season, or if anything, focus on winning our home games, making sure like that is something we get back to, making Atlanta being a place that you're not about to just come in and win, then we should be all right.
Right.
But whenever you go on, we had 2 in the simulation, we had 2 or 4-game losing streaks. I mean, that's where the season's lost, and that's where our season was lost last year. If I remember correctly, we were like 3-3 at one point, or 4-4.
Yeah.
Then we ripped off our next 4 games. We were 1-3.
Yep.
And we were still in the playoff hunt.
Yep. We shouldn't have been, though, realistically.
But I feel like we're going to be in a very similar position this season in our division. I don't think there's going to be anyone in our division going on no 5-6 game winning streaks, So, we can take care of our division games and stay out of these losing streaks. We should be all right.
I agree. Nate says, honestly, the pressure's on the whole organization. We haven't had a winning season since 2017. You got to win this. Got to win this year, and Ritter coming in with a lot of pressure, man. He stated a number of facts throughout that whole statement. Dom says, let us do bad this year, and I'm gonna bang. Dom, if we do bad this year, man, I'm gonna bring you on for your own personal bang session. But let's do this, Mark, before we get out of here, man. Let's maybe let's do the simulation one more time real quick and see what PFF will give us on the next shuffle of the cards, man. Because I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. That was terrible. So let's restart it. Let's go through this again real quick, y'all. We're gonna do it again, and hopefully we get some better results. All right, so let's start it over. All right, we're starting over, y'all. Starting over. Lost to Carolina already. Damn. Oh man, I might need to stop this.
Wow.
0-3, 0-4. Hell no.
That's wild.
5.
We picking number 1 next year?
Golly. All right, here we go. Let's roll off some wins. Our season over now. Season over. Season definitely over.
For whatever reason, we could not score against Tennessee. We scored 3.
We had 0 last game.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, if this turns out to be true, at least we get Caleb Williams, man.
All right.
This is unbelievable. They don't have no faith in the Falcons. I mean, none.
I mean, it's almost like they're using last year's roster because this is wild.
And look at us winning at the end of the year like we always 6-11. We might have lost them last 3 games. Hell,
right?
6-11. We started off 1, 2, 3. We started off 0-5. If we start off 0-5, Mark, you gotta fire Smith that year. You gotta fire him that year.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way anyone could feel comfortable with him being safe, no matter the circumstances next season. I think there's a lot of different situations where where he would not be brought back. Whether it's like you said, 0-5 start. I think the good thing about the 0-5, the 0-2, 0-3 start potentially is at least you could go to Taylor Heineke. You know, you could try to save face, but to me, you can't bring in Marcus Mariota last year, start him all them games, barely play Dez, and then come into the next season and start off bad.
Right.
You just cannot.
Right. So the first simulation had us at 7-10. This one got us at 6-11. So according to PFF, they just don't see us as a good team right now, the way our roster is constructed. Let's look at the stats, Mark. I'll let you do the stats with Desmond Ritter.
So, I mean, 2 simulations in a row, Desmond Ritter has 17 interceptions. I mean, that's the first thing my eyes caught. You know, he's finishing with less than 400 yards. So that means he's throwing for less than 200 yards a game. That's wild, especially considering we're losing all these games. So, like, the simulator is just saying that we are just bad. We're just a bad football team. Like,
Yep.
we can't even get garbage stats. Like, God,
and we known for that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he can't get 4,000 and he played every game. That's wild. But I'm assuming that they're projecting us to be have another run heavy season. So let's see what the running backs. So now Kyle Pitts is there. Okay, so the last simulation, like you said, they projected him getting injured.
Yep.
That's crazy. But in this simulation, you know, in the 6-11 season, we don't have a 1,000-yard wide receiver. We do not have a 1,000-yard wide receiver when we invested the 4th pick in Kyle, the 8th pick in Drake. And, I mean, our 8th pick this season, Bijan, you know, luckily he has almost 2,000 all-purpose yards according to the simulation and finishes with 1,500 rushing yards. So, for whatever reason, PFF, they think Bijan going to be that deal. Like,
yeah, they love Bijan.
like they that's 2 in a row. He's gotten 1,500 rushing yards, bro. That's crazy. In this offense, playing with Tyler, CP, he getting 15.
In both years, he getting 350 rushing attempts. So they feel like Arthur Smith, and you said this, Mark. You said Arthur Smith is going to try to justify to everybody why he took him at 8, and they agree with you.
Yeah, you got to. And I mean, maybe that'll have to be a discussion for another time. Cause I know that's the hot topic is the Bijan pick, but to me, that's what we're going to see with Bijan. We're going to see him running the ball, maybe not 350 times. That just doesn't make sense to run one player like that. But we're going to see him doing a lot of stuff to the point to where it's going to take away opportunities for Kyle, some opportunities away from Drake. And I don't like that. I don't see how Bijan in this offense opens up things for Drake and Kyle Pitts. I just don't believe that. I can see it potentially in a lot of different offenses, but with Arthur Smith, I think he's about to force feed that man Bijan, man.
PFF agrees with you, bro, because they got him being like a total workhorse. And I said this on the last simulator, but on a bad team, 6-11 or 7-10, I don't want to give him the many carries, man, because you need to preserve him for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And if you're just giving him all these carries and we're 6-11 and 7-10, like, yeah, they're great for Bijan. That shows he's an incredible talent, but those carries and, you know, that stuff going to eventually catch up with him as he gets older and as he plays more in the league. And if we are truly that bad, again, this is just hypothetical, y'all. If we are truly that bad, man, I don't want to see him carrying the ball that much. At that point in time, you know, hey, split these carries more with Tyler Algier, give CP some more carries. It's going to be his last year on the contract. And shoot, I mean, even if you got to bring a four-string running back in, just don't put all that on Bijan just to justify that pick if the season were to play out like that.
Yeah, I agree.
As you say, man, PFF, they don't think much of our team, man. 6-11 and 7-10. So they're basically saying, like, Atlanta, y'all not gonna win more than 7 games, no matter how many times y'all redo this later. Y'all are not a good team.
I mean, and they have us again. We can barely score on Tennessee. Like They don't even have a quarterback. Like they're over there playing with 2 young quarterbacks, and supposedly Willis is looking better than the rookie they just drafted. So it's just, I mean, it kind of falls into that narrative that a lot of Atlanta sports fans fall into, is that, man, they disrespect us and they be hating on us. I might have to agree, because you're not giving us over 7 wins twice now. But you giving Bijan 350 carries?
Right.
I mean, because just looking at last season, Tyler Algier had 210 carries for 1,000 yards. Cordell Patterson had 144 carries. Even Caleb Huntley had 76 carries. So maybe he will get up to close to 300 carries. If Tyler had 210.
Yeah. Someone says, Facebook user says, explain how Carolina scored 40 in a rookie opening game. That's a good question, bro. Let's see if we can go look and see what happened. That's a good question. Okay, they give us the stats for the game. Mark, you want to go through the stats?
Yeah, so Dez, he ended up completing 15 passes for 300 yards, but he threw 3 interceptions. So I'm assuming he threw a couple pick sixes, because, my God.
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts with one of the craziest stat lines you'll see. He had 2 catches. One was a touchdown, and he ended up finishing with almost 100 yards. So he had, a 90-yard touchdown catch. Bijan with, again, 80 receiving yards. That's wild. And Bijan ended up with 180. Yeah, see, they think Bijan, I mean, you talking about Carolina's rookie game, a rookie's opening game. Bijan had an amazing first career game. 260 yards to start your career.
Shit.
I wouldn't mind taking that L if he's looking like that.
Man, he's on a first ballot Hall of Fame pace after 1 game. Dang. And 180 rushing yards.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that is wild. That is wild. And it sucks when I look at the Bijan pick, because, man, I think he's a hell of a player, man. I think he's a hell of a player, and he's in a good situation where he could be successful. Especially watching him on Tyreek Hill's podcast. He seemed very excited to be in this offense.
Yeah, he did.
It's almost like he's trying to keep it a secret. And that's what scares me. It's like, oh, my God. He about to be a running back and a slot wide receiver, which is what he was projected to be. But I feel like we're going to overdo it to the point to where, you really you got him out there. And one thing about running backs, one thing about wide receivers is, they're open to those non-contact injuries. And now we put in our 8th pick out there, 400, 500 plays. Damn. Like, if you were going to do this, I'm sure we could have got a running back, or we could have picked someone up in free agency if you want to run someone to the ground.
Yeah, and Dom Dom's statement is kind of a correlation of what you're saying. He said Bijan finna be carrying like CMC is what I'm seeing with them stats. Yeah, using him the same way, entire offense basically.
Yeah,
and then like I won't open this can of worms again at this point, but again, y'all, this is just hypothetical, y'all. We're just having fun, but if these are a true indication of what we're going to see with these stats, it's like even more reason like the Kyle Pitts pick don't really, because it's going to be Bijan's offense. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, this is Bijan's offense. If this season plays out like this is Bijan's offense.
Absolutely. Well, which is fine, but like I said, it just hurts like you said, the draft capital and the value in that 4th pick in Kyle and the 8th pick in Drake. But I mean, I even put up CMC's his best season when he won Offensive Player of the Year, and he had 2,400 total yards. And he had 287 carries that season and 116 catches. So I mean the 350. I mean it's a simulation, but man, that is so outrageous to think that we would run one player like that.
Especially when you got Tyler as your backup running back. You know,
it just that's unlikely. That is extremely unlikely, and obviously it's unlikely that we're going to lose the first 5 games. But I mean, I agree with
don't see that.
Yeah, man, I hate we even did this.
Facebook user said if that man that dominant, they gonna run it 40 times a game. Yeah, if he is, yeah, I can see it. I wouldn't like it, especially if we losing. But if he's that dominant, they gonna get their money's worth out of him. John Harris says, remember Turner had 376 carries in his first year. Ooh. I know Turner carried the ball a lot his first year. I do definitely remember that. We didn't throw it to him a whole lot, but I remember he carried the rock a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
John Higgins says Arthur Smith will win and go 10-7, maybe 11-6, and make the playoffs. I definitely hope so. I certainly hope so. Facebook used to throw the whole simulation away. We need to. We definitely need to.
Yeah.
Atlanta supporter says, I want Kyle Pitts to get TDs as well. Yeah. So that simulation hurt our feelings. The simulation hurt our feelings. PFF has absolutely no faith in our Falcons. And I think Vegas has us winning no more than, 8.5 games, if I remember correctly. So PFF and Vegas are kind of on the same train of thought regarding the 2023 Falcons, Mark. It don't look like they think we're going to be a playoff team this year, even though we think we are. So that's why you play the games, as they say.
Yeah. I mean, still looking forward to the season. I mean, the division's open. It's wide open, so we'll have an opportunity to win the division. I don't care what nobody's saying. We'll have the opportunity to win the division.
Yeah, I think so as well. And again, this was just a simulation, y'all. This is not my prediction. This is not Mark's prediction. We just, having some fun on this nice Saturday. But hopefully we win double than what we got simulated to win. But I guess, Mark, we're about an hour and 30 minutes. We say we do about an hour and 20 minutes today. So I guess that's our time. Before we get out of here, man, I want to thank everybody for y'all's time and y'all interaction and showing us love, and also, just coming on the live stream and just chopping it up with your fellow Falcons fans. Facebook user says no one has faith in us, but I like the naysayers. I love proving them wrong. I do too. It's good to be under the radar. So we'll get out of here, man. I'm sure we'll probably do another stream. Probably sometime next week. Wallace, what's up, bro? Wallace says, and Vegas had us winning 2 games, and it was wrong. Actually, Vegas had us at 4.5. There were sports analysts on TV said we would win two games, but Vegas actually had us at 4.5 in most sports books last year, and one sports book had us at 5.5. But yeah, we'll do another live stream probably sometime next week. I think John Harris and Winston will be on sometime soon. I think I saw them talking in the comments, so y'all be on the lookout for that. Again, I'm Toddy. Appreciate the love, y'all, and also I got my guy Mark here. I want to say that Mark is a realtor in the Jacksonville market, and I know we have Falcons fans that actually live in Florida. So if you're looking at buying and selling, make sure that you holler at your folks before you holler at anybody. Mark, before we get out of here, man, let them know where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, appreciate you, Todd, for having me on, man. It's always a great time. Be kicking it with the OG, talking Falcon football and being with the Atlanta Bird game. But yeah, I'm here in Jacksonville. I've been licensed for just over a month now here in Jacksonville, but I have about 4 years of experience in real estate. So like Toddy said, if you have any questions, buying, selling, investing, or if you're interested in doing any of those things, I think I should be your guy. I think I should be your guy. But like I said, I'm here just to provide value. There's a lot of people that think, we're some salesmen. But I personally, I just want to help. I just want to give back. Even if you're in Atlanta, I'm from Atlanta. I'm from Gwinnett County. And a lot of my experience is actually in Georgia. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at Marquise Cheney. You should see it here below. You can find me on my Facebook, Marquise Cheney, Instagram, Marquise Cheney. You can type in marquisecheney.com. If you have any questions or if you even need help getting into real estate, I'm here for you. I'm sure Toddy will be there for you as well. So, like I said, appreciate you all for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yep. So again, anything real estate wise, holler at your boy Mark. It's been good, y'all. Again, we appreciate your time, and we are out of here. Bye.
Appreciate you.
All right, Mark.